Hey friends, welcome back. My name is Jason, and this is the other Jason.
What's up,
Jason
guys?
Smith from Hobo Forge Survival, and we are on his property right now, his training grounds, and we are discussing some of the top skills that will help keep you alive. Top skills to make you harder to kill, perhaps. I grew up reading survival books. I wanted to watch all the survival shows. I wanted to be out there in the wild, and from early on, I wanted to become harder to kill. That was my goal when I was a kid. I want to be harder to kill. And typically, I focused on Mother Nature and the elements, and not freezing to death and starting the fires and stuff. But as I've gotten older, I've kind of progressed into thinking more about the human element, because humans are the most dangerous animal on the face of the earth.
Absolutely.
So now I'm a little bit more focused on that because I feel like I've never made it. I'm not an expert on anything. I'm the first to tell you that I'm not the expert. If you're here to find all the answers to all of your questions, you're in the wrong spot. But I'm learning. I'm always learning. But I feel like I've progressed enough in my wilderness survival type skills where I can advance and move on to some other things. And as I was talking to Jason today, we're discussing kind of what are our top priorities, maybe for someone that maybe hasn't arrived in the wilderness survival skills. So they haven't gotten to the point maybe where we are yet,
Right.
as far as owning those skills. What are some of the top skills that we would recommend people start to work on, start to progress with, and just get more confident with when we're talking about becoming harder to kill, whether that's from Mother Nature, like I said, or from two-legged foes?
Yeah, Jason, I feel like, if I was going to start out with like one skill that I really feel that people need to focus on right out of the box would be something that's near and dear to your heart, and that's the physicality of their life, right? The ability to move through life, whether you're in the woods, moving through the woods, or just moving in and amongst your peers in in your current job or current situation, wherever you geographically live. Your physical fitness and ability to move and do things in a functional way really is probably my top thing for being harder to kill. And I know that deeply resonates with you and how you promote your lifestyle, which is very much building a, I don't even want to call it a workout. It's like a functional day, and you build some type of exercise into your everyday chores, if you will. So right. I think starting out with the physical aspect of your life is a great start point for being harder to kill. I think people spend more time on Amazon buying gear than they do investing.
Because it's easy.
Yeah, because it's easy. They don't want to invest physically into themselves and give themselves a better chance of surviving in the woods. If they're physically, in shape, they're going to have a better chance in this environment, because as you physically become stronger, your mental is going to become stronger as well.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I agree with you on that one. I think physical fitness is probably, if it's not number one, it's extremely high on the list, because with that becomes confidence. You become a more confident individual. You carry yourself.
Self-esteem.
Your self-esteem becomes higher, and people notice that. And because you're a more confident individual, you carry yourself better, and you're much less likely to be targeted as some sort of victim.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Because you are physically fit and carry yourself well.
Carry yourself more like a predator.
Yeah. And I know people don't want to hear that because it requires a huge investment in time and energy and effort.
But does it?
Well, yeah. Well, that's the conception, right? That's what people assume, is it takes a huge amount of time, and it really doesn't. My workouts, I train 3 times a week, and it typically doesn't even last a half an hour.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm a physically active guy, and I'm always doing stuff, but I don't train more than about 3 times a week. And honestly, you can achieve elite levels of fitness with very little gear and minimal time requirements.
Well, I think in a lot of ways too, I don't think you wake up and say, I'm specifically gonna go train today.
No.
I think you wake up and you say, I have to do these things today, how do I fit training into those things?
Right.
Because now I'm accomplishing kind of two goals.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's a big part is
You don't need a gym membership.
people get in their own
Yeah.
way. They
Yeah.
really do physically.
Yeah. I don't have the right shoes. I can't.
Yep.
I can't work out. Yeah.
I'm not part of the
I'm
right gym.
traveling. I'm on the road.
Sure.
I don't have my workout gear. It's like, honestly, you don't need any. You don't need any space. You don't need any equipment.
Right.
You need nothing.
You need the desire to be
The
what?
discipline.
Yeah, the discipline to
Yeah.
actually execute. Yeah, I really think that the physicality part of what you're promoting really is the hook in which people need to appreciate. You know, because that's where it all begins. From there, you're going to think clearer. You're going to be more conscious of your environment.
Less likely to be injured.
Very much
Yeah.
less likely to be injured. You're going to be more confident about, well, I'm going to take that route versus this route. You know, you're not going to take the easy over the hard, so to speak, because you're going to be more confident in your ability, and it's going to cause you to think more out of the box. And you know, with more ability comes less need for dependence upon gear or other people or systems and things of that sort, which all may be absent. And that's kind of what we're talking about. When those systems are absent, you know, all you're left with is you and what you're capable of. So, you know, when you can't rely on gear and you can't lean on those crutches of gear, what are you left with? You're left with, you know, you, man. So build the best you. And
Yeah.
I think that's what you're trying to do and show.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people need to appreciate that more from a standpoint of like ease of accomplishment. Right?
Yeah.
It's like the low investment. I mean, the guy's running up and down a hill in rubber boots.
That's it.
You know, I mean, right?
It's my EDC footwear.
Yeah,
here.
that's right. Yeah. So yeah.
So what's going to be our second one?
I think second one's going to be mental toughness or intestinal fortitude. You know, from a psychological standpoint. But I think if you're focused on the first one, which is physically fit, then you're building disciplines and you're
getting tough.
Yeah, you're getting tough. So it's like you buy one, you get one for free.
Yeah.
So you
buy one, get one.
Yeah, you buy one, you get number two for free.
Yeah. Yeah. Mental toughness, just a positive kind of can-do attitude. I mean, that's right there at the top, because without that, you are really going to struggle. And I've always said I will take the can-do guy, the positive mindset guy that knows nothing, over the expert that's just pissed about life.
Right.
Because you can't work with that. You can't. It brings everybody down.
Yeah.
But if you've got a positive mindset that says, you know what, I don't know how to do this thing, but I'm going to figure it out.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
if you've got that mindset, you will figure it out.
Yeah, you absolutely will.
Yeah.
And when the mental toughness, intestinal fortitude piece, I think that comes through challenging yourself for things that you should always put something on your calendar you don't think you can achieve.
Yeah.
You know, and then you should train for that thing and then go do that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe you fail.
Don't give yourself an out.
Yeah.
The certain way to fail is to give yourself an out.
Yeah.
Don't give yourself an out, but don't do something that is so astronomically hard that you feel like you have to give yourself an out before you even do it.
Right.
So do something difficult, something that's out of your wheelhouse, and accomplish that thing. Even if it's something so simple as spending the night in the woods, you've never done that before.
Yeah.
Go build that mental toughness of sitting in the woods at night, you know, and the confidence, and then it builds and it builds and it builds. So you don't have to start out with a 30-day, no food, no water, you know, excursion into the woods. It can be very simple.
Although you could.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably not recommended.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And you can only build that kind of toughness by doing.
Right.
You can't learn that. You can't read a book and have it. You could read all the books you want on building mental fortitude, but you're never going to have it unless you go do.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So you have to take that newfound discipline and physicality, and then say, I'm going to take this now to the next level, and I'm going to do something that challenges me both physically and mentally.
Yeah.
Because that's where you're going to be challenged the most.
What's some? This would be good. People like to hear about like personal stuff that you've done. What's something really challenging that you've had to go through that helped you become much more mentally tough?
Sure. Well, my whole military career was built upon hard stuff, right? So Ranger School, SF selection, scuba school, you know, everything is challenging, scary. Everything was done in the rain, in the dark, you know, in the cold. And so I think the Army was the vehicle in which I traveled and achieved and was blessed with the ability and the desire. And you said that was what we talked about yesterday. Was that what is your desire to do these things? Well, you crave that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once you've challenged yourself at that level, and then you come out of the other side stronger, smarter, faster, you know, more hardened psychologically. Now you're thirsty. It's like a drug, man. You don't want to let that go because you know how good it is for you. The hard part is, as life moves on, finding the time to wedge that into your everyday life. It's easy to say these things got in the way and
Right.
whatnot, you know. So I feel like, you know, as most people know, we were both on Alone the Beast, and you know, going to that show was something I really wanted to do to showcase the primitive skills that I had. But I remember being on that show and being asked many times during the thing, "Is like, are you you thinking about tapping out? You thinking about tapping out?" And I remember thinking,
What?
if you think this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life,
Yeah.
you know, but
you are mistaken.
you are mistaken,
Yeah.
you know. But
Yeah.
but you know, I think I drew upon a lot of aspects of my life in which I found things much harder
Yeah.
and hardened me, and I think that gave me the
Yeah.
confidence to
Yeah.
reward that.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that experience was eye-opening for me because one of the things that I learned, probably one of the most important things that I learned was doing what's necessary now and taking care of that thing now and not worrying about what happens tomorrow.
Right.
All I got to do is make it through today.
That's right.
I make it through today, and then we'll talk about tomorrow.
Yeah.
That tactic of focusing on the now and not worrying about all of the problems that I have
Yes.
was really, really helpful for me. And it's enabled me to do more and more challenging things after that fact, right? And then not just survival related stuff, just life.
Well, that's a huge point.
Yeah, because life is overwhelming sometimes because there's so much stuff going on, and people are sick, and you know, dad's in the hospital, and I broke my leg, and I just lost my job, or all these things can be overwhelming. But what do you have to do right now? Yeah. I'm tough enough to take care of this right now. We'll worry about the rest of the things after that.
No, that's such a great point to think about, because in that environment, everything's stripped down, but you're so psychologically driven to worry about next week, next month, next year, and plan for those things because you have children, you have a wife, you have a husband, you have kids, you have this, you have problems, you have bills, when you're out here, I don't have any of those things.
Yeah.
I don't have any bills out here.
Very simple.
Yeah, I don't have any bills. The only
Just
bill
don't die.
Don't die, man. The only look, you see my breath. You know, the only bill I have is the cost of starting a fire. What's that going to cost me?
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's a fantastic point of how we're stuck in that psychological conundrum of always worrying about tomorrow, when out here tomorrow will take care of itself.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow's problem, I don't even know if I'm going to make it through today.
Yeah.
Like, so if I'm focused all on tomorrow, then I'm missing aspects of today that I really need to focus on to make tomorrow more successful, right?
That's right.
So hyper focus on the now and let tomorrow take care of itself.
That's right.
That's a great point.
Yeah. Even Jesus says, don't worry about tomorrow. You know, today has enough problems. You know.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. I think number 3 should be value living. You know, remember, you think about keyword survival. One of the V's in keyword survival is value living, and that's understanding that you have something to live for, whether that's family or God or whatever it is.
What's your why?
Yeah, what's your why?
Survive?
Yeah,
why survive? That's the thing.
Yeah, why survive? Yeah, why not just give up?
Why not just lay down and die? You know, hypothermia is not a bad way to go.
No,
to be honest with you, like if I was gonna, I've never thought about committing suicide. I've never considered it, but if I was going to, just go to someplace cold, lay down, go to sleep.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, you just fall asleep.
That's
man.
it. It's a pretty easy way to go. But the reason that people survive in really, really tough situations and conditions is because they have a reason to survive. They want to survive for some reason.
Yeah.
And for everybody, that might be a little bit different.
Sure.
I know why I want to survive. I want to get back to the people that I love.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like I have a big purpose in this world. I want to do awesome things, and I want to share it with as many people as I can. And I can't die yet because I'm not done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, value living and having something to live for will carry you a long way.
Yeah.
In the absence of skills, in the absence of hardened psychology, just having something bigger than yourself can can carry you through. I mean, it really can. I mean, and as we stand out here in these woods, you know, and you look around, I mean, this place is absolutely beautiful, and it's we're in awe of the beauty and what this brings to bear. So as I stand out here and I look around, you know, I'm humbled by the environment I stand in, and the beauty and the danger that exists out here and is kind of harmonious with each other, right? And it's like you can exist out here and you can suffer, or you can exist out here and thrive, and it all comes down to how you perceive your situation and your skill set and your psychology and, you know, all those things. And I just really want people to experience that level of kind of enlightenment, if you will, is coming out to a situation like this and putting them in challenging situations where they get to grow as a human being, and then they get to think about shit, you know, because while they're out here suffering in some event, they're thinking about their family, they're thinking about going home, and when they get home, they're excited to share that, you know, and that level of experience and gratitude about coming out of the other end successful with something is very intoxicating to share with people. So
yeah, I always talk about that too, especially when we're talking about preparedness, prepping, all the things, you know, the bunkers and the stockpiling of foods and all that. Without people that you love and care for and people that depend on you and rely on you, what's the point?
That's exactly right.
Why are you doing that?
Just go nomadic.
Yeah, just be a wandering vagabond, hobo.
Yeah, hobo.
And
that's right.
hop on trains and ride across the country and do whatever you want. You know, why do all this stuff? Why survive in the first place? So I think that number 3 is your why.
Yeah, absolutely.
Figure out what your why is, because without that, survival becomes fairly pointless.
Yeah, it becomes the driving force in all of this, for sure.
Next one, I would say, on the priority list of becoming harder to kill is just going to be basic situational awareness.
Yeah.
And that could be in any environment that you're in, because if you can spot the problem before it occurs, you've avoided everything in the first place. You've avoided the survival situation in the first place.
Mitigate risk through attention to detail.
That's right.
You know, really.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think you look at an environment like this, and you know, as we've been walking and talking about how beautiful it is, nice crisp morning out here, leaves crunching under your feet. It's absolutely gorgeous, not a cloud in the sky. But as we're walking along, we get down near the creek, and I'm just standing there and appreciating all this beauty. And next thing you know, I get bit by a copperhead, or I get bit by a water moccasin. Because you know, the snakes are starting to come out. It's going to be close to 75 degrees today.
They might be out.
They may be out now. So who knows? Point is, you know, if I'm not situation aware, or like understanding the inherent dangers of being in the woods, or being in a city, or being wherever you are.
Especially when you're around people.
Oh, absolutely. Here I feel like I can almost keep control.
Relax.
Yes, very much so. I'm very relaxed here because I understand the inherent dangers of the woods.
Yeah.
Think fast, move slow. That's how you move through the woods for the most part, you know. Again, going back to physical fitness and things like that. But yes, staying situationally aware of your environment is gonna be a big deal. Mitigating risk through attention to detail.
Right. Yeah, and that goes for all environments like we talked about, especially in urban environments when you've got people to worry about, because like we said before, people are the most dangerous animals on the face of the earth. And when you're around large quantities of dangerous animals, you need to be much more tuned in and more situationally aware so you can avoid possible problems. And that's something that I'm always teaching my kids. And more than, you know, rubbing the sticks together and more than building the fires and the shelters and stuff like that, that is something that I want them to understand. If they don't learn anything else from me, I want them to learn just to pay attention to the surroundings.
Yeah.
Because that is the most likely situation where they're going to get into problems, is when they're surrounded by dangerous people. So,
well, yeah, I mean, if you think about it from a danger kind of perspective, by and large, when you're out in this environment, you're in the woods and whatnot, there's no ill intent from an animal. Like, animals don't rove the woods trying to kill you. And I think that's the perception most people have, is they don't want to go into the woods because something out there could harm them. And
which it can.
Well, of course, but it's not laying not laying in wait.
Right.
You know, they're not saying, where humans will lay in wait to hurt other humans.
Right.
They will exploit your weaknesses. Nature does that inherently. Nature will exploit your weaknesses without you even knowing.
But it's indifferent. It doesn't care.
It doesn't do it because you're out there.
Right.
Yeah. Or because you look weak, or because you look like you're exploitable. so that's situational awareness, and then this all ties back to what we were talking about before, about being somebody that's harder to kill through your survival psychology, through your physicality, through all those things. And it's very important when you're out here to understand, or where you're anywhere, situational awareness will save your life, because the human element of things is, you don't want to assume all humans are bad or all humans are going to do something against you, but the potential's there. Animals are indifferent to your presence. I mean, most animals will run away because they don't want to be in contact with you.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of bears. I've seen a lot of bears' butts running away from
That's
me.
right. That's right. Now, certainly, there are some dangerous animals in North America and abroad. But if you understand the proximity, I'm not walking up to a pride of lions, and in hopes of petting one,
although that would be awesome.
Yeah, right.
a little snuggle with a pride of lions. We'll be better than that.
But but I think the most dangerous thing in the woods here in North Carolina would probably be a black bear. That's got some cubs that you stumble upon. Poisonous snakes. Yeah. But again, all those things are indifferent to your presence unless they feel threatened. So if you move through here with situational awareness and a non-threatening posture, you're less likely. I've been in the woods my whole life, and I've never been bit by a snake.
Yeah, that leads me to the point. Yeah, so situational awareness is something that's practiced, and it becomes just a natural thing. People oftentimes in videos, so it's like, don't you worry about snakes? I'm not worried about snakes at all, because my whole life I've been walking through woods like this, and I look for snakes as I walk. And when I step over logs, I don't reach my hand into dark places that I can't see where a snake might be. I know where the snake habitats most likely are.
And you're looking for them.
Yeah, I'm paying attention to what I'm doing, instead of just, wandering freely doing cartwheels through the woods.
Exactly. The knowledge that the threat is there is the situational awareness that keeps you from being bitten.
That's it.
And that's what we're trying to say here about that being, I think, number 4.
Yeah, I'm not sure what number we're on anymore. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, is situational awareness and in whatever environment you find yourself in.
Yeah, I've shared this before on other videos, but situational awareness is something I'm teaching to my kids. And so on Thursdays we go to jiu-jitsu, and when we leave jiu-jitsu with the kids, we walk out into a dark parking lot, right? And I live in a fairly safe community. It's not that big a deal, but I'm trying to instill in my kids basic stuff. We walk out into that dark parking lot. They don't have their heads on a phone or something like that. They're not cutting up and screwing around. They're paying attention. They're looking around and observing the area. When we approach the vehicle, we look around the vehicle. We look under the vehicle, perhaps. We look in the back seat before we get in there. As soon as we get in, we close the doors, lock the doors. Especially my girls, I'm trying to get them just to make this stuff automatic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's only paranoia until something bad happens.
Right.
And then it was just a failure to plan.
Yeah.
And then it turns into, I wish I would have.
Yeah.
And that's what we're getting at with the situational awareness piece. It's like, you don't have to, these things can be baked into your everyday deal. You don't have to look like a crazy person, like climbing all over your car and looking underneath it and all those things. Those are just, if these things are baked into your everyday routine, it just becomes, that situational awareness just becomes the thing you do.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't think you have to enjoy life any less by being situational aware. I think you're going to enjoy more of life.
Yeah.
By understanding the inherent dangers.
Yeah. So to some degree, it's my responsibility to take care of my family and protect my family. I feel like that's my burden to bear. Right. So, and because it's my burden to bear, I feel like when we're in more dangerous situations, on that note, I feel like I have to maybe pay a little bit more attention than they do. So I've got to, when we're in a wilderness setting or we're in an urban setting or something like that, while they're, having a good time eating their meal or whatever it is that they're doing, I am a little less engaged and a little bit more paying attention to what's going on around me, because that's my responsibility.
Yeah. And then the expectations there on their part too, that dad's more switched on. And that's really the transitional piece between applying ownership to an individual is starting to give that responsibility off a little bit more, and explain to them that, like, I'm not always going to be with you. Yeah. So these are things that I'm looking for at this present time. So maybe before you just completely disengage from your environment, maybe do a quick assessment to see if it's okay to disengage a bit.
Yeah.
Because I don't ever get to turn off.
Right.
And that's exhausting when you have a family.
Yeah, and that's something else that I'm trying to instill in my kids, is that, the reason you assume nothing bad is going to happen is because nothing bad has happened to you. And
Correct.
the reason nothing bad has happened to you is most likely because I was there.
That's right.
Right? So
You have no idea how many risks I mitigated.
Right. Just by being
just
there.
by bump steering you a different direction. And you were like, well, why are we going this way? And it's like, it really doesn't matter. Let's just go this way. You don't need to understand the why between, know, the why on why we're doing this now.
But one day I won't be there.
Exactly. So that's something I'll explain to you later, not in the moment. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think number 5 really has to be building a community of like-minded people. I mean, and I mean through leadership and through training and giving people access to the things you know, and I'm talking like your immediate community and abroad, and you bring that type of training and that understanding to bear. So when something does happen bad, you have a community of people, of like-minded people that know what you know, and that that think you can lean on them as much as they can lean on you. I used to tell, I was telling Jason, I used to tell guys, when I was training with the med stuff, it's like, if I get shot, make sure the guy that was really actually paying attention in the med class, takes care of me, right? Because nobody cares about med. Yeah, nobody cares about med until you get hurt, right? So, so the thing is like, if you don't have that skill set and you're not bringing that skill set to the equation, then you're a liability. And it's like, don't be a liability.
Don't be a liability. I mean, that's exactly right. Don't be a useless man. Have the skills, have the knowledge required to be helpful.
Yeah, just be a useful individual by focusing on these things. Yeah. Make yourself the strongest person you can be. Make yourself the most psychologically strong person you can be. Yeah. Be positive about your situation, whatever the situation may be.
And so building a community, we've talk about that, and a lot of other people talk about building community, and the question always comes up, how do you do that? Like, Correct. How do you meet these people? Well, step 1 is that you become the man that you want all the other people to be. And if you're not that man, if you're not at least striving to become that man, people around you notice that.
Universal law of attraction.
Yes, people around you notice that. If you are striving to be more awesome every single day and learn more, get stronger physically, spiritually, emotionally every single day, then you will attract those people to you.
They want to be, there's something different about you.
Yes.
And they want some of that.
Yes.
Give me some of that.
Yeah. It starts with you. If you want to build a community of people that you can count on, it starts with you.
Yeah. And people would say, I would say, create an environment that attracts people, and that environment's you.
Yeah.
Wherever I go, whatever environment I'm in, I want people to gravitate towards that environment and gravitate towards, the sharing of information and the desire to be a better version of themselves.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, the Hobo Forge mantra, the hobo aspect of the Hobo Forge, like burn shirts and just kind of live in the persona type thing. But I like to look at things for what they can be, not for what they are. And that goes into human beings as well. Yeah. Like I can see the best version in people because I think I can see the best version of myself that I strive to achieve every day. And the forge aspect of things is just forging a community, forging a tribe, forging a better human being in myself, and taking other people on that journey with me. So I think we all need to try to forge a better version of ourselves daily. And that goes with community and understanding the limitations within your own community and urging people to be better and to work together. And I think that was...
Because no one can do it on their own for very long.
No, and I think we're struggling as a society to connect. This is the same for everybody. This is the one... It's like I tell people, the only utensil that you find in every house around the world is a knife. Yet it's looked so down upon everywhere now. Knife. As a knife maker, I struggle with that.
So stupid.
But it's found in every home, everywhere as a knife. And this is that common bond, that thread that strips away race, it strips away monetary, where you are financial, it strips away socioeconomic background. We're all equal in the eyes of nature.
Yeah.
And you put yourself in this environment, and then you can challenge yourself. Everybody's going to suffer the same challenges here: water, shelter, fire, food, right? And that's what it comes down to. So when you
so on that note, so as far as building community, social media doesn't count. No. Social media only counts if you turn it into real. Like, he is real. I can touch him. He is real. Yeah. And I'm speaking to him. That is a real relationship. If your friends are all on social media, they're not really your friends. Like,
Correct.
those are at best acquaintances.
This is an inspirational collaboration here with
Yeah.
Jason. Being able to finally meet this guy, spend time with him, get inspired even more so you're actually working together on this, and I'm not just watching his content and being inspired. We're talking, on camera and off camera about how we can inspire each other, and then now this has become more of my community. I've now added somebody to that.
And because of this one thing, more people of like-minded will be introduced, right?
I really hope so.
Yeah, so he's going to come hang out with me and meet my buddies and the guys that I've been working with and the guys that I've suffered with, and now I trust them and I know what they're capable of, and vice versa. And that community builds in those ways, but it's by doing and by getting out and actually face-to-face communicating with people, and perhaps doing some challenges, some suffering together. Mutual suffering, I think, is a great bond builder, better than really anything.
We just type 2 fun.
Type 2 fun. If you're not familiar with type 2 fun, type 1 fun is where it's fun all the time. It's fun before, during, and after. Type 2 fun is only fun after.
Yeah.
Only fun after.
And that can only and I obviously we both speak from definitely from a and I love that you've coined that phrase, type 2 fun.
I didn't make that up. Somebody else did.
Well, I love it though.
Yeah.
It really is. And since I've been in so many different events, suffering type events, I understand that better than most.
Do you remember type 1 fun all the time?
I rarely. I remember. I still have friends today, 30 years later, that I could talk about type 2 fun. Type 2. 30 years.
Yeah.
We could talk about that same suffering.
Yeah.
And that's
That's
what
right.
makes it so special.
Yeah.
So you should quest for type 2 fun.
Yeah.
Because it will resonate with you. It will make you a stronger individual, and that's exactly what we're talking about here. It will make you stronger. It will build those bonds, and you'll find yourself attracting like-minded people and strong people into your community and into your tribe, if you will.
All right, guys. So there's about 5 things that we feel like are at the top of the list. If you want to become harder to kill, and you're not working on one of those 5 things or all of those 5 things,
Sure.
you need to be. It doesn't matter the rubbing the sticks together. All that stuff comes later, and it comes as you're working on those 5 things. You will develop those skills,
Absolutely.
per se. So, yeah, it doesn't matter how fast you are with the draw. All that stuff comes with work.
And the 5 things we kind of talked about are very much intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
Each one bleeds into the next.
Exactly.
So it's not like they're autonomous,
right?
I mean, it's like the physical aspect of the the deal is gonna move you into the hardened psychology. It's gonna bleed you into the next, and then you're gonna find yourself attracting. Now you've built a community through making yourself harder to kill.
That's
yourself, and you've given that gift to other people as well.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Stronger physically, spiritually, emotionally, every single day. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Do that.
Absolutely.
Be better.
Yeah. Be better, guys.
Thanks for watching. Thumbs up, please. It helps a lot when you guys just take the second to click the thumbs up. It really helps a lot if you leave some sort of comment. It does not matter what your comment is, really, but I would appreciate it if you key in on this topic, and maybe if you disagree, that's fine. I would love to hear disagreements. That's fine. Constructive criticism is always welcome. Add to the list. What's the next thing? What would be the number 6? That would be really great if you leave that in the comment section. It really helps the videos out. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. Can't wait to see you on the next one.